Nick and Rick's Pizza. Rules for delivering to Silas Branch. Written by TheGeckoWrangler. Found on the Ruleshorror subreddit. Hello, Daryl. We heard you had a rather close call on your last delivery. To call the Candleman determined is an understatement. It's alarming how eager he is to claim new victims. But don't worry, his burns have a peculiar tendency of leaving no scars whatsoever, assuming the victim survives. Don't ask us how that's possible, because frankly, we have no clue how third-degree burns can just disappear without so much as a trace. But given how well you dealt with the situation, we'll be sending you on your next Cribble Rock Run delivery shortly. Just as before, any and all information you'll need is included below. It is beyond important. It is beyond important to us that you don't go to this neighborhood unprepared. Customer name, Silas Branch. Address, 2231 Lesher Road. Residence description: old abandoned house in severe disrepair. Large holes litter the building's walls, and a large willow tree has grown in what used to be the living room. The tree is so tall and so massive that its branches have broken through the roof, hiding the ruined building almost entirely with all its leaves. You're also likely to spot several dead birds scattered within the tangled, overgrown yard. Regular order: large vegan pizza, topped with apple and orange peels, coffee grounds, powdered eggshells, Epsom salt, and honeysuckle flowers. Customer description: at a distance, Silas resembles a heavily suntanned elderly man. His face is accentuated by numerous wrinkles, dimly glowing yellow eyes, and a notably thick beard. He typically wears a dark green shirt and pants, accompanied by a blue or gray flannel jacket. Up close, however, Silas appears notably different. His body is comprised entirely of plants. Withered brown grass makes up his skin, imitating wrinkles with their folds. His hair is comprised of pale willow leaves, while enormous leaves, ferns, and weeds come together to imitate his clothing. The flannel jacket is the only thing not physically connected to him. Rules for delivery. 1. Before leaving for Silas's house, be sure you take a bag of silver vine sticks with you from our supply closet. Keep them on your person at all times once you reach the customer's residence. 2. Before making the delivery, be sure all the car's windows are rolled up completely. 3. Leave any cellular or electrical devices in your car. Silas absolutely despises modern technology. 4. The front door to Silas's house has decayed completely off the doorway. Knock on what's left of the frame to get Silas's attention. 5. Do not step even slightly past the doorframe during the delivery. Not only will you irritate Silas, you'll also anger his pets. They absolutely hate strangers. 6. Avoid making unnecessary sound around the house. The willow tree is home to a large colony of pipistrelles, and they are easily disturbed by loud noises. They're small, but extremely tenacious. 7. In addition to the pipistrelle colony, a pair of European wildcats live with Silas as pets. At least one of them will be hissing at you when you reach the doorstep. Be careful not to provoke them by annoying Silas or entering the house. While they aren't terribly big, they are extremely savage. You are almost guaranteed to lose a finger if they attack. 8. When Silas answers the door, don't be alarmed by his angry demeanor. While he is not particularly ill-willed, Silas is stubbornly unsociable and extremely cantankerous. His default facial expression is an irritated glare. 9. Don't talk to Silas outside of delivering the pizza unless he talks to you first. Again, he's quite antisocial, as well as a tad bit temperamental. 10. If for whatever reason Silas starts a conversation with you, do not reference birds of any sort, and especially don't talk about parrots. Silas hates birds as a whole, but a coworker of his has made him particularly resentful of all species of parrot. 11. If Silas asks if you're any good with plants, be very careful with your answer. Say no, and you'll probably be dealing with his pets shortly. Say yes, and he might actually decide he likes you. However, you might end up getting a little too close to the willow tree if he thinks you are lying. The more indifferent you sound, the better. 12. Regardless of what happens between you two, Silas won't do anything aggressive until after he's received the pizza. For this reason, do not hand him the pizza until after he's paid for it entirely. Get back into the car as quickly as possible afterwards, preferably without acting panicked or alarmed. 13. Silas should pay for the order with approximately 20 euros. However, there's a good chance he'll try to shortchange you. If he does, politely insist you pay the full price of the pizza. He'll reluctantly give you the missing money afterwards. 14. As a testament to Silas's rude personality, he most likely won't tip you. Be certain you don't hint even slightly that you're annoyed by this. He may send his pets after you if he feels you've become insufferable. 15. If Silas ever stops glaring at you, it's best you back away slowly. The only time he ever stops glaring is when he's bracing himself to attack. 16. If Silas stops glaring, he'll shortly start making a high-pitched murmuring sound, followed by angry shouting, along with wild green grass rapidly flowing over his eyes and through his skin. Try to be back in the car before this happens. He's about to explode into a surging mass of grass and weeds. On top of that, his pets will take this as a signal to attack immediately. 17. If and when Silas sends his pets after you, throw the silver vine sticks behind you as you run for the car. Its effects on felines are equal to catnip, and will be more than enough to distract the wildcats for a few seconds. This should buy you enough time to reach the vehicle. As for the pipistrelles, all we can hope is that you get into the car before they do. 18. Make sure you're back in the car before Silas reverts into plant life completely. He's all but guaranteed to catch you otherwise. 19. If Silas completely reverted after you got back into the car, don't drive off immediately. Silas will without a doubt reach the car before you can leave his house. He'll shake and rattle the vehicle for a while, but he shouldn't be able to break in as long as the windows are up. He's incredibly versatile and more than capable of squeezing through tight spaces, but he lacks raw power. 20. Try to wait until Silas has released his grip on your car before driving off. If you manage to catch part of him under the wheels, he'll become a serious problem for future deliveries to Cribble Rock Run. 21. When leaving, be extra cautious of the trees next to the road. There's always a chance they'll interfere with your deliveries, but Silas and the trees have a connection. They won't hesitate to help Silas deal with a troublesome delivery driver. 22. If any of the pipistrelles got into your car, try not to let their frenzy attacks distract you from leaving Cribble Rock Run. Once you've left the neighborhood, roll down your windows. At that point, they'll be far less concerned with you and more concerned with getting back to their master. Afterwards, we recommend you visit an urgent care center to get a rabies shot and treatment for any bites and scratches. Rules for escaping. 1. If Silas managed to catch you, he'll ensnare you within the willow's roots, deep in the basement beneath the house. However, you'll most likely be unharmed, save for a few of the willow roots digging into your skin. You can certainly escape, but there's several precautions you must take first. 2. Don't make any attempt to escape unless there's visible daylight. You'll be able to see it shining through the floorboards. Silas works as a day shift security guard for a nearby museum. You won't get far if you make a run for it while he's still in the house. 3. The roots under your skin should come out relatively easy. However, we must be crystal clear. Don't even so much as touch them until you're ready to escape. The tree will shake and groan violently once it's lost hold of you, and the wildcats and pipistrelles will react to its distress promptly. 4. The tree has multiple individuals trapped within its roots. When making your escape, try to avoid letting them grab you. The tree keeps them from dying, and they're all desperate to escape. They'll beg you to help them. Sadly, there's nothing you can do. The roots that pierce the skin become impossible to remove after 20 hours. Most of those victims have been there for weeks. They'll only hinder your escape. 5. You may notice an individual wearing our uniform stuck inside the willow's roots. He's what's left of Charlie, one of our previous employees. If you get a chance, please remind him we still miss him back at the restaurant. You should also thank him. Not only is he the reason this section of rules exist, he's also the reason there aren't any more employees stuck in that tree. 6. Speaking of Charlie, listen to anything he tries to tell you. Being inside the tree for so long has made him delirious and unstable. But he's a caring individual and diligent to details. He'll probably try to help you, and his observations may just be how you escape. 7. Do not attempt to escape by going upstairs. Aside from the likelihood you'll run into Silas's pets up there, the tree won't just stand idle when you break free of it. Its actions will be delayed, but eventually the roots will try to reclaim you. You'll be an easy target on those old, brittle floorboards. 8. While there are several potential exits from the basement, the best and safest way to get out of the house is through the red cellar door. However, be absolutely sure you don't hear the wildcats outside before you open it. They are rather fond of setting ambushes on the staircase outside the door. We must insist you find another way out if you hear those cats. 9. If the cellar door isn't safe, there are several high windows you can climb out through. Silas keeps a number of smashed televisions and other electric devices downstairs, several of which could be perfect as makeshift stools. That said, be careful which ones you use. Several of those things are bad at supporting weight, and will definitely break if you try standing on them. Given everything that's after you, you'll probably only have enough time to try once, so make it count. 10. Once you are outside, be prepared to run. The pipistrelles will be ready for you at that point, as will the willow and the wildcats. There's also a chance the other nearby trees will take interest in the situation. 11. When you do get to the car, do not attempt to leave the neighborhood. Instead, go straight to Granny Longpaw's house with the ham. Her house happens to be a few houses down the street. The trees will be far too riled up at this point. You'll barely get off Lesher Road before one of them totals your car. Wait several hours before leaving. That should be plenty of time for them to calm down. That should be everything you need to know about Silas Branch. For the most part, he'd rather have nothing to do with people at all. Truth be told, if he could get the pizza without human interaction and without using a phone, we'd probably get orders from him daily. But because he can't, delivering to him is quite hazardous. Charlie was hands down our best employee before Silas got him. He's also one of the many reasons our employees get vaccinations for animal-borne diseases on a regular basis. That said, delivering to him is in our best interest. The trees tend to be less troublesome when the deliveries go well. Not to mention, Silas tends to become irate without pizza. When we initially lost Charlie, we actually refused to take further orders from him. Not long after we did, however, our restaurant's sinks, dishwashers, and toilets stopped working. A thorough inspection revealed the cause to be a number of tree roots breaking through the water pipes and cutting off their flow. The roots, interesting enough, were from a willow tree, despite there being no willow trees for miles of the restaurant. There's still no explanation for how these roots even got there, let alone how they broke the pipes completely in half. But after a long discussion with Silas, the roots disappeared, and the pipes were repaired. It is for this reason he's still a customer. If the willow's roots can cross miles underground and break through solid steel like it's cardboard, we'd rather not find out what else Silas is capable of. Sincerely, Rick and Nick Castillo.